Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to the live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Doby, and today, we're going to have some fun. Look, relationship shows and dating shows abound, but I have to say, my friends over at TLC have some of the best, most interesting, you know. I'm here today with a young lioness by the name of Corona. She is a part of TLC's 90-Day Fiance, which airs on Mondays, 8 p.m. Pacific and Eastern on TLC and also streaming on Max. The show is based around six couples who've fallen in love with partners from different countries. And they decide to roll out and go live in the different countries. We're Iceland, China, Indonesia, Ireland, and England for this particular season. So Corona is our Iceland person.
Burr.
Brr. Look, wait, she's from Pennsylvania, so it's not like she hasn't had, uh, doesn't have an inkling of what cold is. But Iceland has to be a completely different beast. A little bit about Corona. She was training to be a midwife. I don't know if you've finished that um, program or able to do it, but we're going to get into it. My last child was born by a midwife, so I find it really interesting to
Yay.
have a conversation. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was wild. Uh,
Birth can get crazy.
hey, that child did not want to come up out of there. We were in the water. We did upside down. Finally, it had to be doggy style, and there she dropped out and said, "Here I is." And I was like,
Hands and knees. That's my favorite.
"Yeah, it was. I ain't going in there. I'm not going with you." Anyway, welcome, Kuroda. How are you?
Hi, I'm great.
Okay, amazing. So you're in Iceland, partying, looked across the room, saw this Icelandic little Viking dude. Who broke the ice? You or him?
No, honestly, we didn't even, he said he saw me when we were out at the club. I did not see him
Mm,
until the after party, which was at his house. And he
okay,
was just standing in the doorway. But it was definitely not love at first sight. But if
really?
anyone broke the ice, it's me. I'm for sure the aggressor in this relationship.
Okay. What, before we get too deep, what's been the most fun for you, though, in putting your relationship on television?
I thought it was gonna be a lot more fun than it turned out, to be very honest. But it's not bad. I've met some great people, like the other castmates. I've talked to some of them, and so I've been able to make some really good friendships.
Okay, okay. So, midwife. What brought you into midwifery? Like, first of all, skip that. From the inside looking out, first, I want you to tell me how you see Corona.
I like how I just see myself in general, or how it was
Yeah.
portrayed on the show, or what?
No, I'm asking for introspective from you. We talking person to person. Like we on the fishing bank, we talking like who Corona? Holla at your boy.
I'm definitely a free spirit. I will say basically raised myself, so I've grown up doing what needs to be done, but also what I want to do, which I don't think maybe a lot of people can say, but it makes me a little bit out there. And I recognize that. um,
Hmm,
but I have fun. I'm very loyal to a fault sometimes, and a great friend to have.
okay. Out there is not a far stretch. You were in Iceland for that. You know, I cold. No, not me. You know, but says to me on just from the outside looking in, like adventurous, willing to experience new things, eager to learn and expand your horizon. So, um, very cool, very cool. If these kids could just get from behind these games and go explore, uh,
Yeah, you got to get out there. We only get one life, so I really try to make the most of it.
right,
I don't want to be 100 years old and be like, man, I wish I would have done that thing.
right,
Like
right.
for me, it's going to be like, oof, you did that thing, girl.
Uh, hey. Y'all talk about being outside. She was outside, outside.
Yeah, I'm outside.
Excuse me. So midwife, as I mentioned, my sixth child, we used the midwife.
6.
Yeah.
Woo!
Hey, hey. Anyway, uh, I'm sorry. We used the midwife because my wife had a C-section. So, here in the United States, once you have a C-section, they want to keep cutting on you instead of trying to do vaginal birth. We could say that with grown folks. It's a medical term. Thank you. Be quiet. Not you. I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't talking to you. Talking to
Yeah, it's called a TOLAC, trial of labor after cesarean.
keep going. Come on, subject matter expert. Let's go.
Come through.
That's what it's all about.
But I've seen it happen very successfully. But I do think a lot of people get scared into thinking like, oh, I definitely have to have another C-section. You don't. You can trial 100%. And then if you're successful, then it's a VBAC, a vaginal birth after cesarean.
Mm, yeah, like I remember us actually arguing with the doctor, and she's saying it's mandatory that you have. I'm like, it's not. It's not a regulation, a medical regulation.
No, that's not
Right.
evidence-based practice.
Yeah, you can't say that she has to have, a C-section again. So we explored the midwife uh process and found this amazing, amazing lady with great facility. Um, like my child was very stubborn and didn't want to come out. I mean, she decided to come at like 6:30 in the morning. We have been there all night. And she couldn't we tried the water bath
Mm-hmm.
and didn't work. It wasn't until my wife changed positions as we discussed that she finally came out. And
Yeah.
I'm catcher. I played catcher. I'm there.
Yay.
Oh, come on now. I'm
I don't joke when I say motion is lotion. Like in the my intro scene, you saw me doing all that crazy stuff on my bed, but that's the stuff that needs to happen to get that baby out. You have to move and open your pelvis in ways that you wouldn't normally think to do.
mm, I didn't know. Because we were actually to the point, that there was some distress going on. The hospital's across the street from the midwife facility. And she said, let's try one more position, all fours. And because my wife was like, okay, look, I have had enough. Let's just go on and go. She wanted to surrender. And the midwife was like, she's there, she's crowning, but she can't get past this.
Yep.
And so let's just, man, 10 seconds later, I had a bundle in my hand. It
Yay.
was it was an amazing experience. So, what drew you to the midwife life?
I mean, it's very strange, but it's honestly the only thing I've ever wanted to do. I've known since I was 4 that I want to deliver babies. And I don't think a lot of people can say like they've had their life goals like their literal entire life. But all my eggs have always been in one basket. I think it's truly just my calling. Like nothing else makes sense than this is what I'm supposed to do.
Mm. I think it's funny you said eggs all in one basket. I'm just like, we're talking about midwifery, eggs, women, kids. My last hatchling is now 17, and I'm so happy it was successful, no trauma, no negative experience. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences that I, as a man, participated in. And knowing it was going to be my last shot, um, it went well. And
I think the partner should be more involved. Like in my practice, as long as the partner's comfortable with it, I want all partners catching babies. I'm your backup, but like you got this. This is your baby.
hey, so you have completed your your training, or you're still training? How's it
I
going?
haven't completed my training. I'm a doula still though, so I'm still active in like the birthing community.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, let's get back to and pronounce your man's name for me.
Inky.
Inky. See, I didn't want to destroy it. I'm bad at that. So I just wanted Inky. All right.
My grandma refused to say his name right, even when she learned it.
I it's so fun to think that you go to a foreign land and someone has eye stalked you without encroaching your space or being, aggressive or anything like that. In their mind, they're going, wow, what an amazing creature there. I want to meet them. Maybe don't know how, you know what I mean? And especially because the cultural differences, things that are polite here may not be polite there in a
Definitely.
in a different country. I've experienced that myself. I had to learn how to be polite in Japan. Do you know how difficult that is? Oh my goodness. So new.
No, I haven't been yet, but it's definitely on the list.
It's nuanced. I'm just saying. So when you're talking about being in Iceland, the act of meeting someone new may be more difficult, especially if they're a foreigner, as you were to Inki.
Yes, definitely.
And you say he was the shy guy, uh, kind of in what I have here. So how did that like slow down the process of getting together, or was it something that you were able to enjoy more because you're really learning this guy and bringing him out of his shell?
I think kind of the latter. Like in my previous dating life, I've dated some real monsters, truly. So this was like a very fresh new thing. I've never dated a shy guy. Like I'm normally dating dudes with the BDE, the alpha males who like come and hunt me. So
Mhm.
this was my first time on like the prowess, so to
Mhm.
say.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, sometimes the hunt is fun.
Agreed. Agreed. I would like to know, you know, so that first night, he finally said hello, or you said hello. Talk to me about the progression of that initial meeting and how you decided, okay, I'm going to give him a shot and see him again.
Um,
Or
You
what
know,
came
I think
first?
by the end of that night, which I mean, I guess it was the next day, well into the next day, but I think I just saw like, I don't know, a spark and I was intrigued to get to know more. So I actually like slid into his DMs and invited him out to a date the next day with my friend Crystal. So we did like a double date.
Okay.
And honestly, I thought it was pretty dry. Like I left that thinking like, okay, this guy's like not into me. What are we even doing? I told Crystal, I was like, Crystal, I think he's gonna go home with your date. Like, I don't know what's happening here. But something in me was like, you know what? Give it one more shot. And then I did, and he showed a lot more interest. So
Okay.
yeah.
Do you think, and this is a layman's question, but do you think it was like the cultural differences in how people in Iceland meet romantically as opposed to how we do it here, in America? Do you think there was a clash there initially for that first date?
I'm not sure if it was necessarily cultural or just specific to him because I have been approached by other like men and women in Iceland and they've definitely come at me a little more aggressively for sure.
Okay. So it's just his nature, his shy nature.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had to overcome that. Speaking of cultural differences, what was the biggest cultural difference you noticed when you moved from Pennsylvania to Iceland?
Um I feel like the first time cuz I travel a lot. I'm a pretty well-traveled person, so I'm pretty easily amendable to different places. I adapt as best I can. But I think for me the first time I went to like the spa, that was a big culture shock for me because like the men and women separate, which I knew that, but then you're supposed to like strip naked, shower in front of everyone, not in your suit, and then there's places where you could be wet and places where you could be dry, and I was just stumbling through it all by myself like a jackass. And I was like, oh my God. They're probably like, this silly American doesn't even know how to go to the spa.
Wow, did somebody finally say, check this out, sis, this is how I go here?
Yeah, some like old lady kind of scolded me, but she told me what I needed to know. So I was like, that was mean, but like, thank you.
Okay, so you don't just get into you got to shower in an open shower, get everything nice and right, and then you could proceed on through.
Yes.
Okay, and you were trying to do it in your suit first?
I guess I was like, I don't know. I didn't know we were like getting naked sorority style. I don't know these women. I wasn't prepared. No one told me that.
Oh, one of them I wasn't ready moments. I got you. I understand. I understand. Speaking of Inky, and it's spelled Ingi, but it's pronounced Inky.
Yeah, the G's sound like K's.
Okay, okay. So I'm sure that the spoken language is something that you had to lean in and like listen extra hard to and understand.
Like
Um,
when he's speaking English or when he's speaking Icelandic.
well, when he's speaking English, because
No, I'm actually really good with accents. I
okay,
think, yeah, once I learn like the Scouse, like the Northern Scotland accent, I can understand anything.
bro, I, I know that was difficult. I
Yeah.
I know that was difficult. In another life, I was a tow truck driver, and I had to service some people from the Highlands, and they were talking fine to me while I was providing the service. And then we got in the car, I'm towing them, and they're talking amongst each other. And I go, "Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but what language are you speaking?" English? Like, oh,
It's a lot.
yeah, I hadn't heard that. So that's fun, but I presume, you have that's part of the interest for you is learning all the points of a different culture. What about shopping niceties and courtesies? What do
So
you?
I used an app so that I could learn some Icelandic, at least enough to like get me by in the grocery stores and things.
Mhm.
So that was nice. And then I tried to build on beyond that so I could like actually have conversations with people. But Icelandic is definitely the hardest language I've ever tried to learn.
Mm.
It's very hard, but I'm getting there.
You look, you seem interested and motivated, and I can see by the glint in your eye that it's like really exciting. You appear to be happy. I don't know. I'm not in your business. I'm getting a little bit in your business, but not a lot. You know what I mean? Um, I gotta ask you, how has your relationship with Inky evolved uh since you first met in Iceland?
Oh, since we first met, how has it evolved? I mean, we've definitely grown to learn to know each other. That's for sure. Um, but I think the rest you may just have to keep watching to see.
All right, we're gonna have one of those today. Okay. That's all right. I got a bunch of them down here. I wrote down like she might not answer some of this, and I respect that. But and I promise I won't do one of those. What do you call it? The personality test where they ask you the same question 10 different times in 10 different manners. I won't do that to you. I'm a really straightforward guy. But
Okay.
talk to me about some of the challenges you had to adapt to as regards life in Iceland. More than the shopping and having to use a translator app and things like that.
I think a big thing was finding my own group of friends that don't involve Inky because, like if we're having arguments or fights or something, like I need someone to go to. And, I need people that are in my corner that I can just vent to and get advice from. So finding my own group of friends was the hardest part. But I came in with at least two friends. So that was a good start. And I have definitely since expanded.
Okay, okay, all right. When you step out of your door, this is totally random. But when you step out of your door and you look around, talk to me about the visuals compared to Pennsylvania.
Oh, night and day. Like maybe not even 100 yards from the apartment is just ocean view, and it is fantastic and spectacular with forever snow-capped mountains in the back, and it's miraculous. And then now in the summer, I mean, you could walk out at 3 a.m. and it's daylight outside, so it's like what is happening? So everything is just drastically different. And then also just the diversity of people. I mean, in Reykjavik, like in the main city, there's so many tourists, so it's very diverse. But when you're in some of the more like neighborhoods where people live, it's definitely not as diverse as Philly, for sure not.
Understood. I think I was really talking about like the nature scenes and architecture and things like that. Are there a lot of high buildings, a lot of
There are actually not a lot of high buildings. I don't think there's any like skyscrapers in Iceland. There are, I think the tallest one's maybe like 30 stories or something like that.
okay.
I think it's mainly so they don't take away from the view because just all around it's just really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like going into another world almost. I feel like it's like an icy Mars.
Mm. I went on to the CIA's travel site and looked, and I'm going, man, it's so beautiful. I've never been to a place that beautiful.
Yeah, it's like
I just,
breathtaking.
my goodness, I just want to get my fishing rod and camp on the lakeside and just stay there.
Yes.
You know,
Now's the time to do it. It's summertime. This is the window.
okay, so how long is their winter period? Is it like a longer winter period and a short summer? How does
I mean, people may disagree, but from what I've seen, it feels like 9 months of winter and 3 months of summer. But, I could be wrong.
okay, okay. Kind of like living on one of the poles. Is it close to one of the poles?
It's closer than we are here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well that kind of you ain't see you don't even have to say that. I know it's closer than we're here in the United States and we ain't nowhere. You Iceland, like never mind. Like Alaska has that, the 24-hour daylight season.
Yes, it's very
So,
similar to
yeah.
Alaska and like,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. You took on this challenge in Iceland with uh 90 Day Fiance, and you had it appears that you had to make you were in this like elite midwifery program, and you kind of had to make a choice because I is now Iceland, the Vikings had midwives they've evolved out of that, and that's something that doesn't happen anymore. Were you not able to transfer your credits like a university or whatever from the program here in the States to Iceland? What was that about?
No, Iceland does. I think most of the babies that are born in Iceland are born by midwives. So
Okay,
it's actually like very midwife driven. There just so happens to only just be the one school there. So it's very competitive, but they do have a lot of midwives.
okay, okay. So, but your career goals haven't changed. You said you're still in the birthing industry, so you haven't given up on that. I understand. Um, what are some of the lessons that you've learned about yourself during your time?
Um,
90 Day Fiance.
oof, it's almost hard to like say any lessons without giving away too many spoilers, but I will say I've maybe learned, oh, what can I give you, man? I've learned a lot. That's for damn sure.
I would say
Um,
maybe pick a benchmark moment where you realized something, one specific item, and let the rest slide. And they can go watch 90 Day Fiance Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on TLC, also streaming on Max to get the rest of the story. But give us a little something.
okay, I will say I've learned, I always say like the soft partnering thing, and people make it seem like I'm hiding a part of myself, but in all reality, I've learned that that's just the side of me that I want out. That's the side that my good side, you always want to put your best foot forward. So I think I've learned to let the light side of me, I guess, take more of the shine and just my overall personality and how I handle life. And that's not even just romantic, but like friendships, professional, just across the board. I think like I'm definitely more in a soft girl era. And I like this for me.
You said, did you use the term soft partner?
Yeah.
I've never heard it, so I'm writing it down so I can expand my knowledge. I learned something today. See, I like that. Soft partner. My wife does not call me a soft partner. That's not the word she uses for me.
I mean, if you talk to any of my exes, the soft would not be a word they would use to describe me. So,
No. And yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm glad it's not just me. And that a flip side, we have a female who's also not described as a soft partner. I love that. I've been married for 20 years. I think the last time she called me a marshmallow or something was like when my child was born at the midwife station.
Oh wow.
You're such a
17 years
marshmallow.
ago.
Yeah, 17 years ago, you're such a marshmallow. She's gonna have you wrapped around. Absolutely. I am weak. I surrender. Um, so we were using, so is Inky really solid in English, or is this developing? Because I wanted to know how you guys communicated in long conversations at the beginning.
No, Ingi is 100% fluent in English.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So all you had to do was kind of get through the accents, which you said you're really good with. So it was a quick adjustment. You're obviously interested in leaning forward into the developing relationship. So pretty fun. What aspects of the Icelandic culture have you come to appreciate the most?
I really appreciate their value on family. I think all my friends in Iceland have really strong like bonds with their family,
Mhm.
and they like meet often and have family dinners regularly and not just for holidays. And they're very like, I've become a part of their families now, and it's just really amazing. I've never really had anything like that. Like I love my family, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same as we're like, it feels like the entire country is just really like has strong family values.
Mm. So the nightly family dinners are still going strong there, or and family events, and everybody's included, even the crazy cousins are in
Everyone.
everybody. And you know what? Does that doesn't that create a more relaxed kind of atmosphere all the way around?
It
No,
definitely does.
no,
It's very, it's a homey feeling.
mm, okay. You're making me want to go to Iceland, go hang out for a minute. I'm not looking for a relationship, y'all. I'm married. I'm gonna die married. And it's just been way too much. But I just want to go and experience. First of all, I want to fish there.
Yes.
And secondly, I wanted the food. Holla at
Hmm.
me about the food. What's your favorite dish that you found?
See, I think being a vegetarian actually makes Iceland quite difficult. It is a very meat driven
Oh,
place. And some of the menu items I like reindeer and puffin and horse. And I'm just like,
I'm a meatitarian,
yeah.
and you may, pass the vegetables by the plate. They may make an appearance over the plate, but not on the plate. Meatitarian. I could understand though, in that kind of protein driven, you know, live protein driven culture, how it could be difficult. You said vegetarian?
Yes.
Okay. Because uh I just learned that vegetarian and vegan aren't the same thing. I'm like, look, you people are confusing me. Just go and get on my boat and go live, somewhere out in the water. Iceland, where I could fish 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
think you should visit at least once.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna buy a special rod and reel just for that excursion. I'm gonna come and just I really, I might even buy a fur coat or something. I don't know, and go
Oh
out.
yeah, I've got some snowsuits.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Do you ski as well? Do you do all the athletics and stuff like that? Are you able to get into
I snowboard a little bit. I'm not
Okay,
very good, but that's my jam.
okay. It's fun. I don't have the balance. I don't have the balance. Nobody's going to get a chance to videotape me tumbling down nowhere. How do you balance? We all have these balances, and it's not even, this is a worthless question. I'm not even going to ask that question. Um, I am going to ask you for a memorable moment thus far, um, from your time with uh 90 Day Fiance. I know, him finally saying hello was memorable, but something else, that maybe just tickled you to no end.
I will say, and this hasn't happened. I don't know if they'll even show this part, but I won't say too much in case they will. But there was a moment where me and Inky and all of the crew were like headed to a destination, and
Mm,
just the vibes in the like ride were immaculate.
mm.
Like the crew was amazing. We were all laughing, having a great time. And then it looked like we were driving through a postcard, some of the most beautiful landscapes I've ever seen in my life. And to have shared that with all of them, I think it was a really good bond for all of us.
The Icelandic Bureau of Tourism needs to hire this young lady. She has schooled an old grizzled veteran on something so amazing. I love it. I really now, yeah, I've been looking at this new Shimano fishing reel. I wanted to justify the expense, and it might as well just be part of the package deal, right? Just like,
YOLO.
yay, you know. What advice would you give someone considering moving abroad for love based on your experience?
Based on my experience, I would say do it. We only get one life. And if you truly feel like there's something there, explore it. Worst case scenario, it blows up in your face, but then you learn something.
Mm,
So I say go for it.
mm. In this day and age, with all the hassles and ignorance that's going on, taking advantage of nice moments and creating nice memories and really being present in those, such a beautiful thing. And I think we'd all be better off. Um, just go enjoy something. I don't care. Go on a coffee tour. Oh,
Yeah.
do they have like specific coffee? I'm a coffee freak. I'm sorry. So I gotta ask the coffee question. Or do you drink coffee?
I'm not much of a coffee drinker, but given the climate of Iceland, they cannot grow coffee beans.
No, but
So there wouldn't be like an Iceland specific coffee brand that I'm aware of. I could be totally wrong,
mm,
but unless it's grown in a greenhouse, the climate will just not allow for that. I was just in Costa Rica a couple weeks ago just for shits and gigs, and that is where they're growing coffee.
no.
That climate.
So what is the product from Iceland besides
Fish.
okay, fish. Okay, okay, okay. I love it. Is there anything, and I know that, because the season just started, I have like the first three episodes. You guys can go watch it on Max. It's streaming on Max, right? But new live episodes every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on TLC. And then go to Max and catch up if you missed something. You know what I mean? Um, is there anything that you wanted to cover that I may have neglected about your experience with 90 Day Fiance, Iceland, Inky, and, you know, working your way or navigating the maze of love
I
in
will just, there's one thing I would like to address because it keeps coming up, in which, fans will say mean things, which is fine. I knew that they would. But people that are saying like our relationship was fake, like that's really hurtful because none of this relationship is fake. Like I fully am invested 100%. So definitely not fake. And I hate hearing that because it just discredits like my love and my experiences.
mm, you know, older guy here weighing in, been around, done some things. There's always a hater, as they call them. You know what I mean? They don't want to see you happy. They don't want to see you triumph, overcome challenges. They don't know how to negotiate through their own life. And to see someone successfully do that and overcome relationship challenges, invest, put work clothes on the dream of being happy, there are a lot of people who aren't considered enough. To use the polite term, they're not considered enough to be able to process that. So I salute you first and foremost
Thank you.
as an adventurer, as someone who's willing to commit and get in there and give it their all. Um, That comes through. And everything that you see on television, there's production value. Everybody understands that, right? But we're talking about people's lives here. And the comments, block is your friend. You know,
Yeah,
I am Jerry of the block.
that is true. My block game is quite strong.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. So, I would just say in support of you, you know, it already took a lot of intestinal fortitude to make that commitment and to drive through it. Remember your intestinal fortitude and remember that the other people, their opinions don't matter to you.
That's very true.
They're not affecting your life from moment to moment. And when we allow others to be jealous of what we have, as in relationships that are making us happy, when we allow them to interfere with our thought process, that interference and you allowing that to happen is disrespectful to your partner. Because that's the person who's making you smile,
Yeah,
and you're making them smile. And you've decided to do this together, and it disrespects your relationship to allow others in. A lock on social media. I'm not trying to hear nothing. Even my brother weighed in years ago on something. I'm like, bro, I don't really want to hear that. You're gonna be my brother. We're gonna be at Thanksgiving. You need to be nice.
yeah.
Uh, or don't come. It doesn't matter. So I love it. Was it besides that, the negative comments? Like I said, we all know there's production value and things hit the floor in the editing room. But the key takeaway, as I perceive it, and I understand you to be saying, is that, live your life, accept adventure, be all in for yourself because these experiences are for you.
Definitely. I think that's a great note to end it on. Let's end it on a positive one.
I believe it. All right, Corona, 90 Day Fiance, TLC,
90 Day the other way.
the other way. Yeah, they went across the pond to go find love. She and Ingi in Iceland, and amazing human being. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time that you spent with us. And don't forget to go stream the back episodes on Max so you can find out what's going on. Until the
Yes.
next time, the Hype Magazine Live Sessions. We out.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This season on 90 Day Fiancé, the other way.
So long, USA, and hello, China.
I think I can handle Iceland. Can Iceland handle me?
It's a home on wheels. We can do anything. The world is our oyster.
I'm leaving everything behind for Tata.
Ini calon kamar gym.
It looks like I'm stepping into a prison.
I'm not your typical Irish man. American Italian MILFs. That's my type.
Everyone knows Sean as my boyfriend, but Sean and I are actually married.
You married a total stranger.
Ma, I didn't want to tell anybody.
Are you gonna move to Ireland?
Yeah.
I just freaking can't.
Are there black people in Iceland?
There's like 5 black people in Iceland.
Sarber has actually designed a new nose for me.
What?
She kinda.
I am the one who will look at every morning, every night, so let me choose.
I know the woman from Vietnam. You like her.
Your daughter is going to try destroying our marriage.
Our marriage is not go on.
You're rude to me, like I'm taking you outside, I'm feeling panicked. I can't listen to you right now. Maybe we just don't get each other, period, full stop.
Now you're talking about breaking up, or like this is too much.
I'm sorry.
Cukup jadi beban dari dulu. Masa iya sekarang udah nikah harus jadi beban lagi? I feel really bad.
Cium kakinya. Minta maaf.
Things have escalated very quickly. I have no idea what's happening anymore.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented? 'Cause I'm black. Why you so amazing? 'Cause I'm black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty, you will only aim in life to be royalty.
We're doing it right now.
I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of.
Shout out to Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.